everyone, and welcome to Scrapbooking the World YouTube and Instagram hop. Your destination on this stop will be a hike around Mount Hood. Now, my husband went backpacking around Mount Hood. I wasn't sure if backpacking was considered travel or not, but I decided, hey, why not? And I really liked these pictures, and I had this collection out. I am scrapbooking using the Legendary Collection by Coco Vanilla. If you have not heard of Coco Vanilla's collections before, you should definitely check them out. She has great boy collections. I will leave a link below where you can find them. So the link below will be to my little scrapbook store. And I want to tell you, if she does not have something, one of the things you want from Coco Vanilla on her website, feel free to reach out to her and let her know, because she can usually order more in. The only thing I request maybe is that you tell her Heather Balzer or Heather B sent you. I ask that you throw the B in there just because there's more than one Heather working with her. So she is a super nice scrapbook store lady. She puts on online crops, mostly Facebook, but they are a lot of fun. So this collection is perfect for backpacking. I got it because I thought it would be best for boys. You know, it worked really well with boys, and it does, it will, but I was really surprised when I actually got it in my hand how well it will work for travel. Backpacking and hiking and even camping. There's a lot of things. What I have done, I am following a sketch. I want to say it's by Scrapbook Generation, but I honestly did this about a month ago and I don't really remember what sketch I'm following. But basically there is 6 4x4 squares on the left hand side and 6 4x4 pictures on the right hand side. So I'm pretty sure it's a Scrapbook Generation sketch. I'm going to add a little bit to it because I didn't want white on the top and bottom. So I am going to glue it all on a white piece of cardstock, but it's going to be entirely covered, if that makes any sense, which sometimes drives me nuts to use my white cardstock, but I didn't have any extra scraps or papers that I could use nearby, and I just wanted to get this layout done. I had a whole bunch of stuff on my to-do list at this time, so I just was getting this done. I did ink all the edges with my black Close to My Heart ink, and what I have done for this bottom piece, it's almost white. I have cut it. This pattern, I don't know how well you can see on your screen, but the reason I chose it is because it has little triangles, and to me they mimic the look of mountains. So I thought that that would work really well since Mount Hood is a mountain. This is the Timberline Trail that my husband went on with a friend, and he has some great pictures. So, little disclosure, I thought that these were the last pictures I had of him on this trail, and I was thinking that that was wrong, but they were the only ones I could find. Well, I did discover more in a different location. So if I would have known that, I would have maybe changed up the sketch or how I did these pictures, but I actually really like how this turned out, so I'm okay with that. I am putting, I think they had a stripe either along the top or bottom, or maybe they had one for both, but I decided to put the darker kind of navy blue along the bottom and then this kind of striped one along the top. I wanted a little bit of variation, and you're going to see also why I chose to put the striped one at the top. Well, first of all, I like the heavier look at the bottom, so I wanted that darker navy blue to be on the bottom, kind of just giving it the whole page. Sometimes it throws me off to have heavier, darker things at the top of a layout. So I chose to put the darker navy blue along the bottom. Now I had that stripe strip for the top, but one of these little 4x4 pieces that I cut, and I did cut all these 4x4 pieces from their 6x8. So she also sells 6x8 pads to go with the Coco Vanilla collection. So I think the only 12x12s that I had to cut up was some of these blue strips and the striped strip and the mountain, like the triangle strip. And you can see when I'm putting down a bunch of things, I just add a bunch of adhesive to the layout, and that way I can just put everything on here and not worry about adding adhesive to each individual piece. Now here's where I'm going to, oh, did I not change it? I'm looking at it here. I was actually planning on changing that, and I guess I didn't even think about it. I meant to put, I didn't even think about it. I even took a picture with my phone and I looked at my phone. I meant to put that striped green strip along the bottom because I have the striped gray strip along the top. So that's totally funny because I thought that I did. I don't know. That's pretty funny to me. So I'm going to put the blue striped strip now. So yeah, it was my goal. My brain just must not have been thinking at all this day because my goal was to use, see, you can see now there's the two striped together. Luckily, they're different colors and there's enough going on in the layout that it doesn't really matter. So it does work out. Now, what I'm going to do, because I felt like it could use a little something more, is I'm going to take some of my gray peel-offs, and these are kind of a matte gray, kind of silvery, not real silver, kind of just more of a, I don't know, they're just right between a gray and a silver. But anyways, these are my peel-off stickers. If you are new to my channel, I have a link to these below. I will tell you that there is these, to purchase these, it's another country that these are basically exclusive to a company, and I do have a link below. But if you would like to subscribe to my channel if you are new, I let everybody know because on occasion she does free shipping sales for these. So just keep that in mind, and I do try to let you guys know the minute that I find out. I have tried to contact her to work with her to see if she would do a free shipping event for me and my subscribers, but I have never heard back from her, so I gave up. And I just figure when I hear about the sales, I'll pop a video on my channel saying, hey, go get the free shipping, it's going on now, and it's usually for like 2 or 3 days. So when I can get it, I will get it to you. But if you don't care about paying for shipping, again, there is a link below. So I'm going to add a strip to the top and bottom, and I just love, you can see in the still shot photos at the end, they just add a little something to the page. I've been really big on outlining my layouts with these lately because, you know, they're only like about 9 inches long, but you can see here that I add two next to each other and they go together pretty well. You can barely see. This spot along the bottom one here will actually get covered up anyway. So this is the part where I'm going to veer off from the sketch as well. I can't remember how many photos. I think she might have just had 1 and or 2 photos on the left-hand side above all those pattern papers. And I had, I think, yeah, 4. And this is the part where I mentioned I wish I would have known that I had more pictures to scrap because I probably wouldn't have cut these down so much. But I had 4 and I really wanted to get them all to fit in this one area. So I'm gonna mount them, and at first I was thinking I would just mount the largest photo because it's the one I want to draw the most attention to, but then I realized that I really liked the way it looked, and the other ones I didn't really care for the way they looked without a little border. So I'm just giving them a tiny little border. And if you are new to my channel from this hop and you are wondering what it is I'm using now, these are We Are Memory Keepers layering guides. And I have a link to these below, but these are perfect for when you want just a little border around your photo or a bigger border and you want them to be all even. Make it super easy so you don't have to try to line everything up with your trimmer, which to me, that I can't line it up for anything. I can get them pretty close, but these, you can see they are pretty quick. Although this video is sped up a little bit, it's still really quick. So yeah, I gave all of those the same border. I ended up doing the same one. I thought about trying to pull in different colored borders, but because there are so many patterned papers behind where all these photos are going to go, I didn't want to add too many colors in that area, if that makes sense. I wanted this to be a real boy layout, real kind of, I don't want to say grungy because it's not really super grungy, but you know, backpacking is. Anyways, this is the Timberline Trail, if I haven't mentioned that, and my husband went backpacking. It is 40 miles. They were supposed to do the 40 miles in 3 days. They actually did it in 2 days. He showed up, he was left a Friday morning, and they were supposed to be back Sunday, and he showed up Saturday, not even too late in the day. It was about 6 or 7 that he showed up back home, and I'm like, well, what are you doing here? So they just booked it. They had a lot of fun. They just I'd say they rocked that trail. So I'm adding a few things around. I'm going to pause here, and I think when I come back, I might already have, yes, I have my title on here. I really wasn't sure what I wanted the title to be. There was all those, the title words that you could order as part of this collection, and I really wanted to try to use one of those, but it just was not going to work for me. And so I decided just to make it Mount Hood. I didn't add the name of the trail because, like I said, I do have more pictures. I think I've already scrapbooked some of the pictures where I went into more detail, like adding journaling. So I'm not even going to leave a spot for journaling on this layout because I have those other layouts. So this is some clear stickers that are also from the Cocoa Vanilla Legendary Collection. Sometimes I really struggle using those, but these ones I'm going to kind of tuck in behind. And some of my favorite ones from this are those grungy, like almost paint looking strokes ones. And so I'm going to use some of those. And I used this little cut apart. There was one of the 6x8 sheets that had cut aparts on it. And the 6x8 sheets were only single-sided, so that was actually kind of nice because then you didn't have to decide what pattern you wanted to use. So as much as I love double-sided patterns, it makes it so much easier when you don't have to choose. Am I right? So here's one of those little kind of paint splashy marks that I liked. And so I added one up there. I knew that I was going to need some kind of cluster down along the bottom somewhere. So I went ahead and just added that green kind of paint splashy mark along the bottom. And since I have a cluster over on the left-hand side, which actually looking at my layout now, I didn't add any of the paint splashy marks. I'm kind of surprised because, yeah, usually I try to do the same thing in all of my clusters, but there's other things that help bring your eye around the page, so I guess I didn't worry about it at the time. And if you are new here, I ask that you bear with me with my voiceover. If the voice sounds any funny, I'm struggling. I'm going from old computer to new computer and just trying to find the software. I think I actually need to get a microphone because this software still seems to work okay. But I do think even my husband said it might just be time to invest in a microphone. So if the voice sounds a little weird, or I notice sometimes when I look at the layout versus looking at the screen to tell you guys what I'm doing, that my voice kind of sounds further away. So I'm trying my best not to look away. Kind of hard to do, but we're going to pull through. I did add a star in each cluster area. I will tell you that. So that is one thing that will help bring your eye around the page. Gluing, these are my glue dot holders if you are new here as well. I really like those, and there is a video about those and a link below where you can purchase those as well. And I did use that Adventure Awaits next to the Mount Hood. I was really surprised. That is normally those flaggy banner type things that are like that. Those are the hardest things for me to use. And one thing I do, if that's something that you struggle with using as well, is I will cut away the word adventure and the word awaits, and I won't use them as a banner. I'll just use them as word stickers. So that is a little hint for you if you struggle using that same type of banner. But I really wanted to use that saying, adventure awaits. There was actually a few things that said that, but I wanted to use that just because I really feel like he went on an adventure and he really enjoyed this hike. So, or I guess it's not just a hike, it's a backpacking trip. Now I'm going to change this little bottom area. You can see here that I have that green splotch, and then I have, it says you're pretty rad, and then I have a couple elements that I've added to that bottom cluster. Well, I didn't like how spread from the left to the right they were. I felt like they were just too kind of spread out, I guess is the best word to say. And so I am going to take the time, and I luckily was able to pull up that green splotchy area. I'm looking at my layout. Again, I'm trying not to speak as I'm not looking at the layout, but here's where I'm going to pull up that green splotchy area. And luckily that pulled up. You know, those clear stickers sometimes do not want to come up. So, but luckily I was able to pull it up and move it underneath kind of more this cluster area, and underneath a little bit of that rad saying there. I'm going to pick that up so that it's on top of that. And just kind of adjusting those a little bit more. I'm going to move it over even a little bit more just so they look like one cohesive cluster and not a row of embellishments. So I definitely like that a lot better. I am going to add another star into this cluster. So there's stars all over in my clusters. And I am later on, and you will see in the still shot photos, I believe I do it after the camera is off, but I am going to add with the same font from the mount hood, I'm going to put 2019 above the legendary in that bottom cluster. I kind of wanted to bring that black over a little bit because I felt like that was the most prominent thing and everybody was going to be looking at the title. So you will see that in the still shot photos. The other thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to use this star. And a lot of times I struggle with items that have like the inside of this, you can tell is open where the star is open, but it went really well over that map paper because it was all kind of the same paper. And I want you to notice that I'm going to put it here and I'm lining up my layout because it's going to actually spread to the next side, to the right hand side of the layout. When it's in the book, you won't notice as well probably, but so there's going to be one of those tiny points of the star over here on the right hand side, and I'm just going to cut it and glue it on there where it goes. So I'm just trying to get everything straight here before I do that because I don't want to cut off any of the star. And there was some parts that were, I'm going to tell you one thing, I'm struggling a little bit with my cutter right here, which I love my cutter, but this cocoa vanilla paper is such nice thick quality paper that when I think it's layered up, because in some spots it's layered up in like 3 pieces, it makes it a little harder to cut through with my cutter. But you can see now that it looks a little weird when the layout is separate because you can see the point of the star on that mountain picture, but then when it's together like this, it looks a lot better. So, but I really am glad I put that star there because I was worried that's one of the things I normally struggle with using. And I'm going to take a few of these enamel dots and add them around to each cluster. And this is going to be my layout. Here are a couple still shot photos. Thank you so much for watching. And I hope I guess I didn't give you any fun facts about Mount Hood. I guess I could have done that, but I hope you like the layout anyway. And thank you again for sticking in there with me with if my voice sounds funny or anything like that. Don't forget to follow the links below and see where the next adventure will take you. All right, guys, have fun on the hop. Bye.